Liberal women are FAFOing in droves right now. I'm sorry, but I think FAFO is just hilarious when you say it out loud. FAFO, you know what I mean? Bucking around and finding out. I got a banger from men only. Let's get straight into it, man.
Got me fired from my job. They doxed me and got me fired. My boss...
Where do you live out of, though, is the question. A shed?
said that I was celebrating what happened to Kirk. And I wasn't celebrating. All I did was make a video saying, you know, directly quoting something he had said in the past. And then they put me on that list and got me fired. I mean, how are they smart enough to make that whole list of all of us and get so many people fired? I should have given them more credit for their, like, dark web websites or whatever. What am I gonna do? I have children and I'm not gonna be able to pay my mortgage because they got me fired just for talking.
How about this? Stop bumping your gums. Pretty simple, really. And my gums are big and I don't bump mine. Well, I guess I do bump mine.
No, like, I didn't even do anything wrong. I guess my boss is on the red side and I had no idea. I just wasn't thinking when I made that video.
Yeah, of course you weren't thinking. It doesn't look like you think too much.
Won't they do?
So here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. I've watched a lot of these videos. I've reacted to a lot of them. And the big thing here, I was in corporate America for about a decade. I was in corporate sales. I sold tech. You know, sat in Zoom meetings that were hellaciously boring. But here's the caveat with this whole... A lot of people are like, oh, it's free speech. It's free speech. You can't do this. It's free speech. That's the thing. It's free speech on a government level, not on a private company level. People seem to forget you can run your mouth and the government can't do anything, but your employer can. A lot of people seem to forget they are an extension of their company when you're on or off duty, just like a cop. If he's off duty, something goes down at the local Wendy's, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's throwing the fisticuffs. Something happens. He gets entangled. He gets in an entanglement like Jada Pinkett Smith. He could be, he could be put on blast. He could get in trouble. The same thing when you run your freaking gums. Your company could say, hey, we don't jive with that speech. So you're out. So freedom of speech is separated when you work for a company. The government can't do anything. In the UK they can, but in the US they can't. But a private company can do something about it.
Fired Kimmel off of his own show because he spoke about Charlie. Because free speech isn't free anymore. What has this world come to? Like,
freedom isn't free. It's $1.95. What's that South Park episode, y'all? All right, was it the movie? That's the first thing I thought about.
If you can fire somebody over something they said because you didn't like what they said, like, so messed up, like.
Y'all wasn't crying when Tucker Carlson got fired, though. When people that were conservative got fired years ago for talking about Trump, y'all weren't crying then, but y'all crying now. Come on.
They're fired, okay? He's like, that's permanent, okay? That's permanent. Like, do you know the damage? It's not like he like killed somebody. It's not like he killed somebody.
Dude, whoop-de-doo.
Won't they do?
That Jimmy Kimmel lost his job, bro. You can go get another job, and he's probably got M's in the bank. He's probably got more M&Ms than an M&M factory. Like, he's fine, dude. Speaking of M&M, Morgan. But he's probably got enough money where he could retire. You know what I mean? He's fine. Jimmy Kimmel, and I heard they were bringing the show back, and then they were taking it back off air. I don't know what the whole fiasco of that's going on. I think if you make an insensitive joke about somebody who was assassinated that preached a positive message, I do believe you should be deplatformed. That's not right. Like the guys like Destiny, he's getting banned. Hassan Piker might be even next. But if you're gonna say really insensitive things about somebody who was assassinated just because you don't agree with them, I think that is a problem. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I'm not saying you got to be conservative. I'm not saying you got to be liberal. I think anybody that's assassinated for their political beliefs is wrong. That's bad. You have freedom of speech here. You can talk about the political beliefs that you have, and you should be open to discourse about it. That's one thing that I've been really open-minded about during this entire Charlie Kirk effect that's happening on social media right now, is opening myself up to hearing liberal people out. And I just haven't found a lot of videos where I'm hearing a lot of logical arguments. I even listen to some of Destiny's stuff, and I'm like, yeah, none of that makes sense to me. It doesn't. You know whose message does make sense? Guys like Charlie Kirk. That stuff made sense to me. It's like cut and dry, lines in the sand, very black and white. And that's how I am. I'm not like, let's live in the gray and, you know, people can be frogs and they can be cats. Like, no, you can't. And so, I don't know. That's my whole philosophy on it.
I just got out of an impromptu meeting with the vice president of Western Governors University.
Oh, you know you're cooked when it's an impromptu. Rebecca, can I see you really quick? You're cooked.
Scheduled on my calendar 10 minutes after I arrived back from my midday break. Ooh. No one else was scheduled on the meeting besides Casey Clark, the vice president.
What is up with all these liberal women wearing these massive grandma glasses? Do y'all all shop at the same lens crafters? Shots fired! Like, why do they all look the same? Like you're 32 going on 65. Why do you wear those glasses? It's not a good look. When your glasses go from your eyebrows to the top of your lip, it doesn't look good.
President of Western Governors University.
Your eyeballs are only this, and here's the thing. Your eyeballs are only this big, dude. Why do you need one that goes all the way down your cheek? It's not a good look.
But then the HR representative showed up first, and we both sat.
Dude, I used to tell jokes so funny that HR wanted to be there. No, that's when you know your jokes are funny, when HR wants to hear them.
There, and knowing that she's worked at the university for about a month. And then he showed up, and I said, it would have been great if we met each other under different circumstances, Casey. And he said, yeah, I'm going to fire you.
Cooked.
Basically. And he said that even though Ohio is a one-party consent state, and I only showed the part of the conversation where I spoke during the prior meeting, that breached the policy for the university, which if you ask me, sounds like illegal retaliation for calling out the president, Scott D. Pulsifer, for neo-Nazi sympathizing with Charlie Kirk. But I would love...
Bro, neo... Like, are you kidding me? We've made that word way too casual these days. Like, is everybody that's a Republican a Nazi now? This is crazy, bro.
A pro bono lawyer to verify whether or not that's correct. And then he said, I celebrated Charlie Kirk's death. With me calling out who Charlie Kirk was, which was someone with neo-Nazi beliefs and statements,
you're a liar,
is celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, then so be it.
That's what they've all done, though. They've dehumanized Charlie Kirk so much that they see him as a sub-level human or not even human. Because if you relate anyone to a Nazi, you automatically think that they're not even, good Lord, that frog in the throat. Sorry, you guys had to hear that. You already see them as a sub-level human, so you're basically looking at them as a bug and that you can exterminate. This is the liberal mind virus that's going around right now, where they can compare someone who has a opposing belief than they have as somebody who's not even human. Like, are you kidding me? Are your bangs getting in the way of your brain waves?
Because that's who the fuck he was. He was a neo-Nazi.
You're a liar.
And any organization...
He wasn't even close. He wasn't even... Go listen to his... When people say this stuff, I already know they just don't listen to his debates. It's just like when people call me a misogynist. I'm like, you don't watch my channel.
That would fire me for calling a neo-Nazi is not an organization I want to work at.
Yeah.
Now all WGU students, faculty, and staff will know that the president and vice president are both neo-Nazi sympathizers.
It sounds like they took the...
Bro, that's crazy. Neo-Nazi sympathizers. Brother, you think you're going to get a whole university to get on your side? You got to be another level of stupid.
Stupid.
I bet almost every kid that watched that was like,
won't they do?
We don't care, Rebecca. Get your little short little... haircut, your Brady Bunch little haircut, and your grandma glasses. Go on somewhere with that. Go work at a bookstore. Go make me a latte. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear none of it. Liberals are fired after celebrating Charlie Kirk's death.
He had it coming.
Yeah, that song, diabolical.
If you'd have been there.
A few moments later.
I just had to block all of my friends because they just have such different political beliefs from me, and I thought that we were the type of friends who would live together someday after college and like stay in touch no matter what. And I thought these were the people that I would spend my life with and grow old next to. These were the people who saved my life on multiple different occasions.
The beautiful thing about it,
Bro, just that whole mindset right there. Let's break that down a little bit, chat. I thought these were the people I was going to get old with. You should want to get old with a family, bro. You should want to get old with your friends. You know how weird that sounds? You know how childish that sounds? I want to grow up with all my buddies and my friends. We're going to live in a big house together. When I was a kid, that's what I thought. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if you had this thought as a kid. When I was a kid, I was like, I want to make a bunch of money. I want to have a big house, and I want all my friends to live there, and you can have your girlfriend, I'll have my girlfriend, and we'll all live together. I thought that as a child. That's a child's mindset. As an adult, you realize, no, I need a wife, I need a family, and I need to go branch out on my own. It even talks about this in the Bible. And I'm not saying I'm a huge Bible thumper. Y'all know me, I'm not like really religious. Hell, I was atheist 5 years ago. But in the Bible, it talks about breaking away from your family and going creating your own family. Now, your like, you know, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, now they are your distant family. Or there's some verbiage that they use for that. But they don't become like the main family that you have. You go and create your own. These kids, and I'll call it what it is, she's a child. She got that scepter ring, so she wears all of her trauma as a personality, and she thinks, oh, all these people are just going to stay with me forever, and we're going to just be in one woeful family. It's like a modern-day hodgepodge orphanage of the Addams family. Like, what are y'all doing just wallowing in your sorrow, making lattes and cappuccinos and working at bookstores? Like, what are y'all, like, your liberal farts degree isn't going to get you a job in the future. You're not going to make 6 figures. You're going to struggle. But here's the thing also. With kids like that, that is their reality. Their reality is that the only way they will be able to afford to live anywhere is by living with their friends. Hell, I had to do it out of college. I had to live with some homies until I made enough money to go get my own apartment. Living in Austin was expensive in your early 20s. You're talking a 1-bedroom, $1,500, $1,600 a month. I wasn't making that much money, dude. So I had to save up for a little bit, live with some friends for about 2, maybe 3 years, honestly, and then finally got my own place because I saved up enough money. And because I needed a car, so I had to buy a car. And I don't know, I wasn't honestly that financially savvy. I wasn't doing the things I should have been doing, Chad. I was pretty stupid. But I was in my 20s. I've grown up a lot, and I've done a little bit better with my finances. Well, I mean, now I've done a lot better, but that's neither here or there. I like telling you guys the progression to let you know I didn't always have it figured out. Like a guy like Charlie Kirk, that dude had it figured out from the age of 18. I think he was a millionaire by the time he was 20-something. He had it down. He was homeschooled. He was highly intelligent. I don't know if he ever went to public school, actually, but extremely intelligent. Very successful young man. He's achieved more than I'll ever achieve at the age of 31. I'll probably never be able to achieve as much as Charlie Kirk did in 31 years of life. I just turned 35 today, actually. September 23rd is my birthday. So I'll do a live stream on Wednesday, which is September 24th, so I'll see you guys there tomorrow. And if I don't see you there, dude, I'm sorry, man. I miss you guys. But for real though, my dildo, going back to that, I like you guys to understand that I've went through some things because I feel like it humanizes me, and it also, for some of you guys that are going through stuff, it gives you a little bit of hope. Levi went through it. He's doing okay. At least I hope I'm doing okay. Good Lord. Stupid. But just know that you always don't have to have it figured out. Even right now, I feel like I don't have it all figured out. I feel like I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty well. I got a good-looking dog. You know what I mean? Oh, do you want a treat? Free? Sit. Wait. Free? Good boy. Go to your place. Got that Grinch hand. Did y'all see that? I got him a new bed. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Doesn't it look good, though? I got him in that at home zone, Ripley's, believe it or not. And it has you can take the whole cover off and wash it. Because he'd be getting all those treats over there dirty. He'd be farting on that thing. So I got him a bigger couch. But like I was saying, I like to talk about this stuff so you guys can see even my progression. I'm not perfect. I ain't got it all figured out. It takes time. And that's okay to sit there and reflect and go, you know what, I'm going to take the time to go figure this out. You guys have been flooding my DMs, flooding the comments with, Levi, thank you for your advice. It changed my life. I love hearing that, dude. I absolutely love hearing that. So let me know in the comments, has any of my advice helped you in life? Done anything like that? I like to provide a level of valuetainment, as Patrick Beck-David, I guess, does with the Valuetainment channel. You get value out of it, but you're also being entertained, and hopefully you laugh a little bit. Let's get back into this. Oh my Lord, have mercy.
Does anybody remember like 5 years ago how if you wanted to keep your employment at your job, you had to get a vaccine? And if you didn't get that vaccine, you would lose your job and not be qualified for unemployment.
I do remember
So a lot
that.
of people lost their jobs. Jump to today. A week ago, a gentleman was assassinated because of strictly his opinion. And people celebrated it, and now those people are losing their jobs. Ironically, it's the same people that were harassing people for not wanting to put something in their body that had not been severely tested. I could go on, really, but do you guys remember that?
She got a good point. When it first came out, I was like, how long has this vaccine been out? And they're like, oh, it just came out. I was like, how? Didn't it take a long time for like the measles vaccine to come out? And the smallpox vaccine? I was so skeptical at first, but this is at the time where I was like, at like height atheism. I was like, no, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not putting that stuff in my body. But my employer at the time wanted me to, but I was like, bro, I don't know. I just didn't trust it. I was like, y'all got it all figured out? 6 months, right? This just happened. Y'all got it all figured out? I was very skeptical about it. Fired from a bar on 6th Street in Austin, Texas for posting my political opinions. They should have fired you for that awful tattoo. Shots fired! Got a butterfly on your neck? Good Lord.
Not only did they fire me, they banned me permanently from the premises and escorted me out to my car. I wasn't even allowed to walk through the building myself. I was upstairs at one of the bars. I was working, and the big manager that you hardly ever see, like the manager that when you see him, you know there's a problem, comes and gets me. And he's like, pack up the money in your well. We're going to move you around a little bit. I'm like, okay, they need me to cover a break at another bar, whatever. So anyways, we walk down the stairs and I'm like, okay, what bar are we going to? So he walks straight into the office. So I follow him, and he was like, what I mean by we're moving you around is you're not going to be working here anymore. And I'm like, can I ask why? He was like, because of some videos you posted. I said, may I ask what videos I posted? He said, you know what you posted. I said, okay. He's like, I'm going to need you to sign these termination letters. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to need a copy of those. I was like, what is the exact reason for my termination? He was like, not following the code of conduct. I said, okay, fantastic. Austin is a red city, not a blue city. People think, oh, Austin's a little liberal. No, it's not.
Maybe the people are liberal, but the people that own the businesses are probably not. You know what I mean? People that usually own businesses and work for themselves, from what I've seen, I live in a very red area though. They're usually Republican. They usually want to keep a lot of their money. They want to write things off via the business. And so just because you're a tattooed hippie in Austin doesn't mean that all of the establishments you work for are also Democratic and liberal. A lot of the businesses are very, very, very Republican. I mean, Greg Abbott lives there. Come on now. He's Republican.
All of my little bitch-ass coworkers were posting, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, R.I.P. I feel so bad for his wife. When you take a stand, when you say R.I.P. to someone like that, you're saying to everyone else, I side with him. I believe what he believes. I'm so confused.
Why does it have to be that? I've openly said I don't agree with everything that he says, but the more I watch Charlie Kirk, the more I'm like, I actually do agree with a lot that he says.
Flawless victory.
Because I'm doing more research. I'm educating myself. I'm doing what the left is not doing. Educating. I said, you know what? I don't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said. So I said, you know what? Let me go back and watch a lot of his debates. And so far, there hasn't been anything that I've actually disagreed with. So I said that being uninformed. And I think that's what Democrats and liberals need to do right now. They need to go, you know what? I'm uninformed. I need to go watch his debates and watch what he says. A lot of them, you can take a clip out of context so easily. Something where he's mocking someone or mocking something. It's easy to take that clip out of context. Is it me, or is that candle just going ridiculously hard? Like, that is the hardest burning candle I think I've ever bought. Shout out to Cass on that. But yeah, go back and watch his content. You're unsure? Go watch his content. I bet you'll actually agree with it a lot more than you think.
So this woman got fired.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad she got fired. Good on that business owner. She looked like the desk at detention anyway. Shots fired! So you got to realize you work for this guy who owns a private company. He's not governmentally funded.
A healthcare worker in Atlanta got fired from her job because she made comments about Charlie Kirk's family and Charlie Kirk's kids. Now, I know a lot of y'all gonna disagree with me, and this is not rage bait, but rightfully so. If you're a children's healthcare worker, you cannot go. You can do whatever you want to do, but bitch, that's why you're unemployed now. You can't go online. And mind you, I don't even know, like, I'm just learning about Charlie Kirk 4.5 days ago, approximately 102 hours ago. Everything I've known about this man and learned about this man has been against my will. At this point, he should have stayed alive if I was gonna have to keep seeing this nigga down my timeline, keep on hearing the hateful and the things that he's saying, and it took Jimmy Fallon off for this man.
Wait, you think he's hateful? What?
My bad, not Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. But as a children's healthcare worker, you cannot get online and say fuck someone's kids who is deceased. Don't care who they are, don't care what they did. Those are children, and you work in a field dedicated to children. Just the same way a CNA or an RNA can't get on the internet and do some certain stuff, or they will get their license revoked. Just the same way y'all was just on that teacher a whole month ago about what she was wearing to school and how it was inappropriate and she should get fired from her job. Mind you, she could be the best teacher in the world. She could have everybody test scores going up by 125%.
I did a whole episode on Teacher Bay if you want to go watch it.
The shit she was wearing was inappropriate and y'all were boycotting for her to get fired. If you pick certain careers, there are certain things that you have to do to protect those careers. You can do what you want to do, but if you want to protect your career, you have to move in a certain way. That's why.
Yeah, well, I just remember back in my day, not everything was politically charged. Not everything was about a dadgum fascist regime and how the West is crumbling and that, you know, everything's against me and the government makes my life hard. You know, like, you live in the greatest country, in my opinion, to ever exist. And what's also hilarious to me is when they ask these liberal people, well, where would you like to live if you don't want to go to America? Well, if the government paid for a one-way ticket to any country, where would you go? They're always like, I don't want to leave. Are you dumb?
Stupid.
You don't want to leave? But I thought it was so terrible. Is this Anya Taylor-Joy's, like, cousin?
Shots fired!
I made a video a couple hours ago that was like, oh my god, something's in the air, like the energy feels weird.
Eyes look like they're running from each other. Just on opposite sides of the frickin' polar caps.
Weird, is it just me? I just got fired. I just got a call from my boss and the executives at the office that I worked at past tense, and I got fired for posting a TikTok about Charlie Kirk. And before anyone asks, yes, I am looking up attorneys. I will be looking into what...
You're cooked.
Won't they do?
Those attorneys are gonna be like, yeah, we can't do anything. Sorry, you're an idiot.
kind of like I have to stand on as far as like a wrongful termination.
You can't even afford an attorney. A lot of these attorneys are $500 an hour, or they're like, hey, they're gonna look at the case and be like, you can pay me afterwards. But they're gonna look at this case and be like, it was a privately owned company. They're not governmentally funded, so you're cooked.
Suit or anything like that. But honestly, I feel like I feel good. I'll do a full story time soon.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
You don't feel good.
And probably like a little get ready with me to go pick up my stuff from security tomorrow. But like ultimately, I'm like kind of excited. Maybe it's like my big three all being fire signs that make me really excited when shit like this happens. I'm like,
stupid.
Yes, give me a challenge. Fuck you. So my new full-time job is going to be applying for jobs and looking for attorneys and cleaning my house.
I love it. I got fired, but I'm going to go apply for more jobs just so they can see my TikTok and be like, so what happened at your last company? Did you quit? Did you get fired? What happened? Well, I made some insensitive remarks about Charlie Kirk's death. Okay, well, yeah, you're not getting hired here either. Do people not realize that your next employer is going to ask those questions? You got to be another level of
stupid.
And doing my homework and posting on the internet. You know, the thing that got me fired.
Get ready with me to go pick up my stuff from the office after I got fired yesterday.
Are we surprised at her look? With the tattoos that aren't even coherent? Like chicken scratch. What is that? Is this just a blob? Is this a tree? Did you get a tree tatted on you? Good. I mean, I have my left arm is a sleeve of American traditional. I get compliments all the time, but it's because you can actually see it. You look at my arm, you're like, oh, that's that. Oh, that's that. It's not like I look at her arm, I'm like, what is that? Is that a tree in the middle of a forest? Is that the Blair Witch Project tree? What is that?
yesterday. So I was at work when one of my coworkers came up to my cubicle and told me the news about Charlie being attacked last week. We had a discussion about it at my desk where we were, one, speculating if it was real or not. And then our next point was, well, he had extremely controversial opinions and was very vocal about those things. He was not a politician, but he was very political, and therefore he had a lot of people riled up, understandably. Obviously, this news was shocking, but not surprising, if that makes sense. So we talk amongst ourselves about how his stance on gun violence and how he was of the opinion that the deaths of children, minorities were worthy and necessary in order to protect the Second Amendment. We were commenting on the irony of how he was then a victim of the same type of violence that he was saying was necessary and that he was perpetuating the rhetoric for. So I'm an opinionated young lady, and I decide to comment on this online. Again, just noting how it's very ironic that this man would be attacked in this manner, but that it is no surprise that the face of political violence, whether he was a politician himself or not, becoming a victim of the political violence that he advocated for should not be surprising to anybody. In no way am I celebrating or condoning what was done to him. Was it a...
Yes, you are.
Gotcha, bitch!
Politically or morally neutral take that I had? No.
No, don't try to walk it back now, baby girl. Stand on that. 10 toes down that. TT did. You saying that it's ironic is you mocking him. Okay? That's what it is. Call it what it is. Don't try to backpedal.
It's very clear which direction I lean politically. However...
Yeah, to the left.
I'm of the opinion that I didn't get on here and say anything like hyper-inflammatory, nor did I have a tone of celebrating anything. Not in this house. So I post this video in the morning as I'm getting ready for work. I go about my day. The next day rolls around. Imagine my surprise when I hear rumors that people are talking about me and are sharing my video that someone saw on my account. A friend in the office gives me
your friends in the office really wanted to get rid of you. They're like, oh, let's get rid of her.
Whoa, they do.
We do not care about Rebecca. Oh, my God. What is that? Sorry, chat. What is going on? My God. Sorry, Lokes. I think it's this candle. Jesus. Loki, go to your place. I think that candle... Dude, I think that candle set off the fire alarm, dude. That scared me, chat. Oh my God. I think that candle's too much, dude. I might have to open the freaking door. I usually keep my door closed in here. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud for you guys, chat. I don't even know what my train of thought is. Goodness gracious, chat. Hey, I apologize. I hope that wasn't too loud for you guys.
Heads up about this, and I assume that at some point my boss is going to pull me aside for a talk. But at this point, no one has confronted me directly. So I'm sitting at my desk doing my work, and suddenly I hear my own voice playing full blast from my coworker's cubicle directly across from me.
Oh, you could.
And it's the intro of my video, obviously, where I was commenting on the situation from the day before. And I was like, oh, what's that I hear? And she was like, oh my God, I have no idea. Like, I just opened my phone and like the internet was pulled up. And I was like, that's interesting. And she made a little comment where she was like, don't open your texts at work, kids, or like something like that. And so obviously someone has like texted her this video of me and she like pulled it up. But then after I, tell my boss like, hey, I'm not sure if you just heard that, he pulls her aside, and then afterwards I go in to talk to him and come to find out that this coworker had actually heard my friend and I talking at my desk the day before, and she was, I guess, uncomfortable with the tone that we had taken about discussing this.
I love it. Like, women like this are now the victims of Me Too. Like, well, I'm offended by her rhetoric, and it really makes me uncomfortable in the workplace. So I just would rather, her not be next to me. Like, baby girl, like men were getting shamed for approaching you at work, for being pigs at work. But now you're running your mouth and you're getting in the same trouble. That's ironic, isn't it? Isn't that ironic?
The attack when it happened. And so I'm not sure if she went directly to my boss or if she went directly above him to HR, but either way, we had been informally reported for, like making her uncomfortable just from the discussion that we were having about the incident. So then this coworker and I, my boss, and the director of HR book a conference room, and I will fully agree that I should not have been having those discussions at work. We obviously are left-leaning, and also let's note that the company that I work for identifies itself as a conservative, faith-based company.
You're an idiot.
Stupid.
You work for a conservative, faith-based company, and you're talking out this... dude, oh my, wow. I don't think you could be dumber.
So I was already the queer-shaped peg trying to fit itself into the conservative hole, if you know what I mean.
I can see a local Starbucks is in her near future.
Shots fired!
I bet she makes a mean latte.
So I already knew that I was in enemy
She has armpit hair too? Ew.
territory. My coworkers and I have all been very tolerant of each other's opinions and viewpoints. I feel like I was good friends with them, and I can have those conversations and understand that we can have different opinions on these things and still...
Bro, but I don't do well with the armpit hair, bro. I like them bald from the eyelashes down.
get along, especially when it comes to like a work relationship, when it's strictly professional up to a certain point. Oh, she pulls us into a meeting, and my coworker expresses, like, I just found that very distasteful. She identifies as someone who's very patriotic. Her husband is a veteran, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, I absolutely understand. I was like, you are completely correct. We should have not been having that conversation at work. I can't argue with that. I was like, however, I do take issue with, a video that I make on my personal...
That's when you should have shut your mouth, buddy. You should have ate it. You should have said, you know what, you're right. But then you had to be like, but you know what, I also have an issue. Well, you're done. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Time being passed around and like gossiped about, when I again feel like I shared like a pretty reasonable take on the situation. And there were tears from both sides, and we apologized to each other.
No, a reasonable take would be rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. That's a reasonable take.
Me, of course, for having that discussion at work in the first place. My boss and the HR representative said this themselves, they cannot and do not want to control what I say. But, there is kind of a funny line between if and when I represent the company off company time, and of course what I post on social media, not to mention the unspoken rule of at-will employment in my state. So they could say, I don't like your hair color, I think your balayage is ugly, you're fired. They can do whatever they want. However, before the discussion ends, I do make it a point to say that I've endured a lot of insensitive jokes and casual conversation coming from the other side of the fence at work.
This is a typical narcissist playbook here. Negate accountability, or say, yeah, it was my fault, but they did this, but you need to hear my side, and then also to flip it to play the victim. If you wanted to play the victim, you should have brought that up at work.
Again, with this being a very conservative company, they made their opinions very known. And this is anyone from, people who are at my level as like a tier 1 entry-level employee, or from directors, executives. They all made their opinions very clear. And these things were brought up in casual conversation, and in my opinion, were inflammatory and were insensitive and disrespectful. But you know what I did? I kept my mouth shut. And maybe that's...
you're a tier 1 employee. That's what you're supposed to do.
Flawless victory.
You're like, in this whole entire game of chess, you're a pawn. Keep your mouth shut. This is the thing with a lot of these liberal women, is they feel like they have more importance than they actually do. When I worked at a company and I was a new hire, you know what I did? I stayed down, I kept my head down, and I worked my butt off, and I kept my mouth shut. I didn't talk about stuff like this. I didn't express my opinions. I worked, and that's it. From the time I got there to the time I left, I worked.
It's on me. But I'm not the one who's trying to stir up personal political stuff at work. I understand that I'm in the minority here with this group of people, and so I'm not trying to...
No, you're in the minority in general.
I probably should have taken those experiences as a lesson to make sure that I did not have the conversations that my coworker and I were having within earshot. Should have kept that out of the office. I take full responsibility for that. I understand where everyone's coming from. So it's my understanding that we're all moving on from this. Luckily, it was the weekend, so we have a couple days to decompress. I come back yesterday on Monday. The vibes are bad. Like, I was getting iced out by the woman who reported me, and then also one of our other coworkers who she was pretty close with. My boss is acting completely normal. I'm just feeling pretty uncomfortable, and so I request to work from home for the rest of the day, in which my boss agrees to because he's very kind. And I have a feeling that he kind of thought this was coming, and so he was like, sure, go rest at home while you still can, RIP. So of course my coworkers and I, who are close at work, we're buzzing, trying to figure out, what's going on, if anyone's going to get fired, because I was under the impression when the conversation with HR closed that we were going to move on from this. It was water under the bridge. We came to an understanding, but again, things were just like not feeling so great. And so I end up working the rest of the day from home. I'm just like minding my business, doing my thing. And then my coworkers notice that some of the executives and directors are moving kind of funny. So they all get in a conference room, and we're nosy. And so we start kind of like fishing around, trying to figure out what they're in there for. And then right as we're messaging about this, I get a phone call on my personal phone from my boss. And he says, hey girl, hey, I'm in here with the execs and HR. We just want to talk to you real quick. And I was like, period. And so the HR director is like, hey girl, so she didn't specifically cite the incident that had happened last week. What she did say was, we were able to find your TikTok account and we reviewed your videos, and we've decided that you violated our company social media policy because I did post videos while I was like on the premises, like at work. And she was like, this goes against our social media policy. And so in light of this, we've just decided to go ahead and terminate, your employment here. And I was like, absolutely. I completely understand. Of course I had kind of seen this coming. And so I was like, thank you for your time. I completely understand. We talk about when I can come get the rest of my stuff from the office. And so I'm doing that today. And of course I immediately tell my coworkers and I'm like, hey guys, maybe watch out. This just happened. And of course they absolutely lose their minds. But again,
oh girl, it's so sad you got fired. Oh no. Oh, we're not going to do anything about it, but oh my. That's exactly what happened. This chick right here, I saw this clip and I was like, I got to show you guys this clip.
Now, I am very proud of myself for being raised with all 100% hard Republicans and coming out the complete opposite of them. It's exhausting.
Do the septum rings actually make the noses bigger? Shots fired! Because she's got a schnoz on her. Felt like she can smell what I'm thinking.
And I hate it here.
Move. Oh wait, you probably can't afford your own place.
Gotcha, bitch. I would just love to know what it would be like to have a family where they support all aspects of you.
What I don't get is, do these kids ever think, man, I could be wrong? They're always like, I'm right. I'm a 19-year-old kid with a septum ring, and I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Have you ever thought that maybe you're wrong?
And not make comments like the fact that if they would have a trans child, they'd smack the shit out of it, or that they would love to line up all the liberals and shoot them.
Objection, hearsay. I wasn't at the family function.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Here's what you should do. Get off the internet, dude. Get out. If it's gonna rot your brain like that, Loki, what are you doing back there with that little pillow? Aww. So I got him the little couch chat, and then it also came with a little bone pillow, and it looks like he is just loving it right now. He looks like he's loving it. Sorry about the fire alarm. I'm not gonna take that out because we don't edit these. We do one take Timmy's, one take Jake's. So I hope you guys appreciated that. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Loki, did you have a good time? But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's good to have you guys out, man. Until next time. Peace.